Welcome. It's indisputable. Good to be with you. Wow. It is Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and we have a Friday show for you. Joining me in the bullpen later in the show, Shelley Winter, host of 95.5 FM WSB, Word on the Street, and we will debate mask mandates. And he wants to talk about COVID vaccines versus ivermectin. Should be a hell of a debate, okay? Breaking down news of the day, we got the big homie, Jackson White, co-founder, and EIC, editor-in-chief of Politiscope, TYT Rebel HQ creator, and all around really phenomenal person. Let me go to my first story of the day. See, this is why people don't like the police, okay? A man who's handcuffed, he's being escorted out by US Marshals, and then this happens. Let's just show the video.
That's the one you took. Good morning.
Okay. Now, producers, get ready. I'm going to show that video again. I want to provide some context to this video. This individual was arrested by the US Marshals in Mississippi. This happened in Jackson, Mississippi. Now, I've watched this video multiple times in slow frame, and what I've noticed is that as one of the marshals, one of the agents, they are walking out, he says, "This is the one who said you suck." That's what one officer says. To the officer that hit him, I want you to pay real close attention because the media, they're saying either it was a punch or a slap. I don't think it was either. If you look at the marshal's hand, it looks as if he has something in his hand. Play it again. At this part, okay,
That's the one you took.
watch where his hand goes.
Good morning.
Then he tells him, "Good morning, B word," okay? But if you look at that right hand, it looks as if he has something in that hand. Now, obviously, we need more information to verify that, but you can clearly see it does indicate the man has something in his hand. Now, I know we would like to focus on that one marshal, right? But did any of those other marshals do anything? No, not a damn thing. See, this is the culture. Obviously, it's against policy to strike a man in the face, open hand, closed fist, or with a weapon. Obviously, that's against policy, but culture eats policy alive once again. None of those marshals, none of those men who, according to the Marshal Service, they stand for justice, integrity, and service. None of those men stood up. None of those men said, "Whoa, wait a minute." None of those men even tried to intervene when the guy, after criminally assaulting the suspect, walked over to the suspect. Nobody. They would have allowed that marshal to continue to assault that handcuffed man if he wanted to. US Marshal Service, they are looking into the incident involving a member of their task force. Video sent to WLBT from a Ring camera shows a suspect in handcuffs being either punched or slapped, that's according to them, in the face as he walks out of a home in Jackson. Marshals did not comment on the specifics of the incident, but provided this statement. Let me read the statement. The US Marshal Service is aware of an incident that occurred this morning involving members of our multi-agency Gulf Coast Regional Task Force in Mississippi. We take any allegation of misconduct by our personnel or task force partners seriously, and we are currently gathering information regarding the incident. The handcuffed person has not been identified, nor has the reason for the arrest. Let me make it very clear, because I know when we post this on social media and YouTube, people are going to start saying, well, why was he being arrested? I don't give a damn why he was being arrested. I don't care. Maybe he had a legitimate warrant. This is not the issue. The issue is that police officer was unprofessional and criminal. That's the issue. He decided to handle and apprehend the suspect in that manner. That's the issue. And if you're talking about police officers doing what they're supposed to do and community supporting them, who in the hell can support that? You can't support that. A witness who did not want to be identified said she was asleep when the officers kicked open the door of the home. This is a direct quote. I'm gonna read it exactly. They drugged them, they hit them, and they was handcuffed through this whole ordeal, she said. She says the officers also ransacked the house. Once again, out of control cop, not the end of the story. Out of control cops, out of control agents. Nobody did anything, no intervening, no duty to intervene. Nobody stopped this martial culture. Jackson, your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts go to the fact that this is being investigated at all, because what's there to investigate? He just clearly got smacked in the face with his hands behind his back. The officers had the situation completely in control in terms of having the suspect contained, and this was completely unnecessary through and through. And really, until strict consequences become the norm, this type of behavior will continue to be the norm. Because of what you pointed out, the culture is what really persists. It's a bros club. You come in, everyone looks out for each other. It's kind of like a big family. And so, I live out here in I'm from St. Louis, but I live in New Jersey, right next to New York. And a lot of the corrupt cops out here, and the culture of that and the history of that stems from you don't tell on anybody. You always look out, and if you do, you become taboo within the precinct. You become taboo within the jurisdiction. So because of the culture, it makes it difficult to even step forward at all. If you are somebody who maybe has your head on more straightforward, the system itself prevents any type of consequences from coming about.
Yeah, sounds like gang culture to me. Why do people keep doing this? Young girl of mixed race background goes to her elementary school, and the administrators there decide to cut her hair. Yeah, they did not have permission to do so. Let's put up a picture. Let's go ahead and do the picture now. Okay, she had long hair. They cut it. They had no permission to do this. The people who did it, white, the young girl, mixed race. All right. This was not the first time her hair was cut. According to the story, her hair was cut twice. One time by a student, and then the administrators. Let me give you some background to this ridiculous story that should not even be an issue, but it is. There's a $1 million lawsuit now against the school system because they figured they should be able to cut the hair of a child. A father of a 7-year-old Michigan girl whose hair was cut by a teacher without a parent's permission is now suing the school district, a librarian, and a teacher's assistant. The lawsuit alleges that the biracial girl's constitutional rights were violated. Racial discrimination, ethnic intimidation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and assault and battery. Jimmy Hoffmeyer, who is black and white, said that in March his daughter Journey arrived from the elementary school with much of the hair on one side of her head cut. She said a classmate used scissors to cut her hair on a school bus. That's your first incident, right? Well, that's disturbing, obviously. 2 days after the bus incident, and after complaining to the principal and having Journey's hair styled at a salon with an asymmetrical cut to make the differing lengths look less obvious, Journey arrived home with the hair on the other side cut. The father says, I asked what happened and said, I thought I told you no child should ever cut your hair. That's what the father said at the time. She said, but dad, it was the teacher. The teacher cut her hair to even it out. Hoffmeyer said the girl who cut Journey's hair and the teacher who cut it are white. Let's put up a picture of this young princess again, just to give you an idea of what happened, okay? 2 other employees were aware of this tragedy. They were aware, but did not report it. All 3 employees have apologized. Oh, I'm so sorry I did this to your child. The school board said the independent investigation found no racial bias. Now, damn it, we cut hair without permission, but we're not racist. That should mean something here. I don't give a damn if you found racial bias or not. You better not ever put your scissors on my child's head. That's my decision. That's my child, okay? You have no permission to do these things. You're not even certified to do them as far as I'm concerned, all right? The school board said the independent investigation found no racial bias and included interviews with district personnel, students, families, and a review of video and photos, including posts on social media. But Hoffmeyer said the district never questioned him or Journey. She now attends another school. This is one of those, what the hell? Jackson, thoughts here?
Yeah, seriously, I mean, above anything else, the boldness of it, the lack of responsibility, the lack of professionalism and respect, not only for the little girl, but for her family and also the entire school district as a whole. Because you're sending a message that we're just kind of gonna do as we like with your kids based on our own ideas of what discipline should be. And obviously, this type of stuff has all, civil rights issues with it, racial discrimination issues with it. But just from a professional standpoint, I mean, this really can damage you, for people wanting to send their children to your schools if they think, oh, this district just kind of, has its own street justice, basically.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, how many white children did they cut? I mean, if this is what you do, you could say, listen, no racial bias here. Look at all these white children's hair. Look at all these haircuts we provided at this school system. They couldn't do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't even pick up a phone. You don't send me an email. I'm sure they got some kind of portal or alert. Every school does. Let me know something. Put in the request. It is permission that should have been granted before something like this ever happened. Let me shift gears to a positive story that started quite negative. Gravity Payments, the CEO, was ridiculed because he had the audacity to say he's raising the minimum wage of his company, had over 100 employees. He did this about 6 or 7 years ago, right? Everybody, all the economists, all of the Republican pundits, they said this guy is going to lose. Company will fail. He cut his own salary to make sure everybody at the company could get at least $70,000 a year and more. Here's some of that background.
What I wanted to announce today is we're gonna have a minimum $70,000 pay rate for everyone that works here.
Have you seen the CEO of the Seattle-based company who raised the minimum wage at his credit card processing company to $70,000 per year?
Lunatic of all lunatics, Dan Price, CEO of Gravity Payments.
I hope this company is a case study in MBA programs on how socialism does not work, because it's going to fail.
Thoughts on this guy? Personally, I think he's a socialist, but
This is the man who's doing it. Are you a socialist?
Well, look, I don't support a minimum wage increase because it's a job killer, but he's a private business owner. If he wants to do this in between hugging trees.
I have a hunch we're gonna know Dan Price for a really long time. But the 130 employees of Gravity Payments, I think they're gonna be on the welfare line.
Yeah, that's what they said about the guy, okay? Company is doing better than ever. Profits in the millions. His workers have been able to purchase homes, have children, enjoy life. His retention rate is higher than the national average. Why? Because he did what the economists and the pundits said he could not do. He was fair. He was fair, and it worked. Let's put up this amazing tweet from Mr. Dan Price, the CEO, who has done the unbelievable. Dan Price said, 6 years ago today, I raised my company's minimum wage to $70,000. Fox News called me a socialist whose employees would be on bread lines. Since then, our revenue tripled. We're a Harvard business school case study, and our employees had a 10-time boom in homes bought. Always invest in people. Wow, he did it. Now what you got to say? I'm talking to all of the conservatives and economists who will say, no. The only way to make this work is through trickle down economics. You must incentivize the rich in order to validate and in order to uplift those in the middle class and the poor. Damn lie. He just proved every single one of you suckers wrong. All of you. Now, who's going to apologize to Mr. Dan Price? Will it be him? Put up his picture. Let's put him up. Roll all those clowns who said this could not be possible. This could not happen. Everybody universally on the right called Dan Price a lunatic. Now you can call him a lunatic all the way to the bank. Jackson, good story here.
Yeah, great story. And I think what it really demonstrates is the fruits to nurturing the better sides of our inescapable human nature, and that we're a collective and social species that really aims to give help and nurture and assist one another when we're in safe and supportive environments, versus the opposite end that creates a scarcity mindset, which really is what our business culture runs on. Because it's common sense to think if you give more to people for their hard work and their efforts, they will give more to the company, they'll give more to the mission. You will attract better talent because people know that their lifestyle will be better supported if they can go there, hence higher birth rates, which the millennial generation and on, we're having babies much later. We're not owning homes, and a lot of that is due to the fact that we're not making any money. And people being in bread lines for making more is just completely antithetical to logic and reality. And so unfortunately, fortunately, this man's story is really, really popular and well known, because we see firsthand that giving more allows people to give more in return.
And I love how it happened. He did not follow some fancy economist. He did not have some massive data collection operation. This happened because Mr. Dan Price ran into one of his employees that had to work a second job to make ends meet. He said, this cannot be so. And because of that one employee, he cut his salary, transformed his entire matrix, and boom, 6 years later, one of the most successful companies in America. All right, we got more. It's indisputable. Stick and stay. All right, welcome back. It's indisputable. Let me read some of these comments. Before I do that, do not forget Power Panel on the Young Turks tonight. This thing is powerful, okay? Starting at 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Pacific time, you got Senator Nina Turner. That's how they're leading it off. They're doing it big. Francesca Vertini, Cenk Uygur, and J.R. Jackson. Woo! Jackson White, double duty. And then Cenk again. I've done some of those a couple of times, man. All right, you get loopy at about, the last 30 minutes. Just roll with it, brother.
Yeah, definitely, I'm ready to get it in, man. I'm ready to do it.
Absolutely.
It's always good to be on.
Also, podcast, don't forget, the podcast for Indisputable is now available. Acast, Apple, wherever you get your podcast from. Now, let me tell you how they do this. Indisputable, the 1 hour show where I do news of the day, that's one podcast. The Bullpen is another podcast. So if you just want news of the day, boom, you got it. If you just want great debates and conversation about issues that you care about, boom, Bullpen, all right? That's how it works. Make sure you download that. Also, give us 5 stars. Give us 5 stars if you like the programming, okay? And Galaxy Brain, right after Indisputable, the big homie Ben Carollo, Fridays, 4 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Pacific time. That's a Twitch exclusive, twitch.tv/TYT, okay? Let me read some of the comments. I got Kelly O'Hara, this is my poet. Let's get it. Don't mind my hand as it comes at you swift. I fear for my life as you started to shift. Obey my orders, do it now, do it quick. They're against the law, but I'm trying to be slick. My badge gives me cover to betray and abuse. I'm a bully with a gun, with authority to misuse. Damn. Kelly, I gotta say, you are already good. You're getting better than great now, okay? And you gotta understand, she's doing this while we're broadcasting, okay? It's amazing. I may need to enter you into some of these freestyle competitions. That's what I may need to do. You may need to start doing battle rap, okay? Great stuff. Greyhound Dragon says, unreal. The cops want to be respected. Once they start showing respect for everyone, regardless of their skin color, religion, gender, sexual orientation, then maybe they will get respect in return. Mickey C, the silver-haired dragon. So now teachers have learned a lesson from the cops and Catholic priests. If they offend, no punishment. They ship them off to another place where they can't offend again. YouTube super chat. Is this, I think, Rankus Gamer? The good, in quotation mark, the good police never stop bad ones because they will have to testify against them in court. Doing so make the good cop an outcast at that point. Right, because if the culture is that you have more good cops than bad cops, just think about it. If that's the culture, that means there's more pressure to be good and less allowance to be bad. That's what that would mean. Good cops would outweigh the bad cops in sentiment and in activity. Okay, Hiram Bifidum. How dare they make fun of that man, that CEO, for being a halfway decent human being? He's laughing all the way to the bank now. Deontay Allen. They should have let that little girl cut both the kid and that teacher hair. that would have been funny. Abstract Dragon. These marshals have the restraint of a 4-year-old. Yeah. Mass Debater says, I generally don't put hands on people, but in this case, I'll be in jail. Don't touch my kids. Yeah. Forbesilla says, shoot, I want to work for that company. Flying Contradiction Dragon, thank you for gifting. We got Lucy Winterwolf. I used to wrap my hair in scarves way before I officially, I think you mean became Muslim, because of white people doing my, I think you mean touching my curls and my hair without permission. Can I touch your hair? Hands already in my hair. Yeah, and we've done some stories on that. RBF Dragon says, Doc, Richie, bringing hope back to depressed progressives everywhere. Don't be depressed, be empowered, okay? I understand, just remember, there is no finality in one election cycle, one person, one man, one woman, all right? It's a team effort. We have to keep pushing the overall agenda. All right, let me bring your attention to something that's truly sad, okay? There's a video of a sick man, he has COVID-19. He's being convinced to leave the hospital because of an activist who's a COVID denier. Let's just go to the video.
I am with my friend Joe here, with the wife. We came to Letterkenny to rescue my friend because they were trying to kill him. So we handled some paperwork in the hospital, and basically they couldn't handle the paperwork because we are operating in common law and actually in natural law. I'm gonna rescue him. He's gonna come with me now outside immediately. And you follow me. Nobody will, you stay behind me. Nobody will touch, okay?
Okay. Can I just talk to him there? Are you okay?
Yes, he's okay.
Are you all right?
Yes, he is.
What he's doing is wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
He's endangering your life there by doing that.
I don't know who's endangering whose life.
I just want to make sure that you understand. You have the right to decide what you want to do.
Yes.
But I don't think he's talking that's what he's saying is right at all. You're barely able to breathe there now. We want you to stay to help you.
No, Joe. It's all your choice, Joe.
Yes.
If you stay here, they're gonna kill you, Joe.
What he's saying is wrong and very dangerous. And I think he's endangering your life. it's a very difficult disease what you have, and I'm not lying to you, you could die, but this would be your best chance in the hospital and getting the oxygen and getting the support we're giving to you.
Joe,
it will be your choice.
Last night, they were going to bring in this you. Yes. We refuse. So why? Your oxygen is 98%. These people, they are lying. So we go home now, my friend. Because that's your last chance.
Think about this. Are you his wife?
Yes,
I want you to think about this. You're endangering his life.
It's okay. It's better if you die in the house. It's better if you die in the house than dying here. He's gonna die with us.
Joseph, I think you're very ill. I think you stay in the hospital. And it's your choice, but I think
Joe,
he's not telling you. He's not advising
come on, my
correctly
friend.
there.
Yeah. We have the people that back you up. Come on, my friend. Come on.
This poor man is barely able to breathe. This activist, he's doing this for show. You know why? Who in the hell walks into a hospital with a cameraman, in order to show how they can get people out of the hospital? And then he says, listen, just die at home. It's better if you just die at home. This man, this elderly man, his name is Joe. Joe did leave the hospital, but had to come back according to updates from individuals connected to the family. He had to come back just a few days later and is now in an induced coma. Okay? But this person who decided to go in there, he's an activist, anti-COVID person, believes hospitals are in the business of killing people, okay? Now I want you to think about something. There have always been alternative medicine people in the world. They are among us now. Many of them have some really good ideas actually, okay? People that believe in more of an herbal-centric diet. Okay, that's fine. That will always be among us, right? No problem there. How many of them have ever gone into a hospital to take a sick man off the damn bed? How many? We've never seen it before because of the politicization connected to COVID. We have never seen this happen, except as it relates to COVID-19. People don't do this for the flu. People don't do this for HIV/AIDS. You have not seen people do this for cancer. They're doing it only for COVID. And you have to ask why. Because of the politics of it all. Let me give you some more background to this. This occurred on September 15th at Letterkenny General Hospital in Letterkenny, Ireland. Joe, the patient, had already been in that hospital for a week, and you could see he could barely breathe, okay? Celta Healthcare Group has said it is gravely concerned by a number of recent incidents in which groups of activists have attempted to spread disinformation about COVID-19 at hospitals. These activists are disguising themselves as rescuers. They're saying they're going into hospitals and they are rescuing individuals, okay? In a statement, the healthcare group, which covers Letterkenny University Hospital, confirmed it was aware of 2 recent incidents where groups had attempted to spread disinformation about COVID-19 at its hospitals. All right, this is very deliberate. This is intentional, and they are trying to document these rescues on their social media pages. It's deadly. I don't know why they're not being arrested. I don't understand this. What's the law in Ireland? I don't really know, but damn, if you can walk into a hospital and do that, come on. Jackson, thoughts?
My initial thoughts really go straight align with what you said, that this really is all for show. And I think you really nailed it about how the politicization of COVID all over the world, people aren't doing this for the flu, people aren't doing this for HIV, people aren't doing this for anything else. Even here in the States, people going into public town halls, doing all, putting on a show, woman talking about the vaccines magnetize you. It's all for the same thing, just for views online so that people can build their profiles. And what's really sad about this is not only that Joe had trouble breathing, but he also seemed to not really be able to think very well.
Yeah.
And he was just kind of being influenced, and whoever could pull him the furthest is whichever direction that he was going to go. And in general, you have to think medical professionals, they have to go through 10 to 14 years of academic training and hands-on training before they can even be board certified, before they can even be allowed to be considered full attending doctors. And these are people who just look at memes on social media and Instagram and then therefore think because they read one bullet point that they understand anatomy and they understand medicine and they understand chemistry and all these things that really truly take expertise to do well in any type of professional sense. So, the politicization, unfortunately, the echo chambers online, this is a problem that we're gonna continue to deal with for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday?
You're still free! Back off! I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life. You are you wearing a mask? The governor said wear masks? Huh? The governor said wear masks? Answer the question! Then answer! Did he say to wear masks? Did you say to wear masks? Like you're the only person. Governor Stannis has a mask mandate. No, he didn't. You know why? Because they don't work. You study the science, they don't work. Masks do not work. They hurt people. They hurt the children. You're hurting the children. You're harming the children.
Let's analyze this. This individual is in Florida, okay? He's yelling, did Governor DeSantis say wear a mask? Okay, Governor DeSantis has mishandled COVID from day one. He is now creating other Karens. These Karens, in this case a male Karen, is yelling at an Apple store about Governor DeSantis not telling him to put on a mask. Now remember, everybody has on a mask here, and generally a private company can enforce their own mask mandate for their private company, and usually Republicans are okay with that based on their traditional ideology and philosophy as it relates to the rights of a business owner. But obviously, this individual, this male Karen, he's special, he's different. It is his will that should be listened to. Not the will of the majority in that store, nor the business owner who does have particular rights. And then he says the masks do not work. Well, that's contrary to the science, but he says he has researched it himself. That's ridiculous. Masks are up to 90% effective. All data shows they are effective, period. And then he yells, it's hurting children. Okay, Jackson.
I think this is another example of someone who never sufficiently got their ass whooped. And I'll tell you what, like I don't look for trouble, but there's zero chance that if someone was yelling at me like that in a store, I would shut them up in some form or fashion. Like and two, but what's really important about this, let aside the jokes, is that did my political strongman tell me to wear a mask? No. That is a serious problem. And those are the people who are more politically active than the people whose heads are screwed on more securely. So even though it may seem like these are fringe individuals, we can't think like that because they vote and they vote and they vote and they vote. So
you made a hell of a point.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. That person probably votes in every damn election. Right?
Every single one.
100% consistency. We got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay. All right, welcome back. We got a lot of comments. Let's get to it. All right. Let's go to Potion Seller. American anti-vax propaganda is a plague on this planet. You know what it is? It's the ignorance. It's the misinformation. It's the intentional deceit. But good point. Kajon Dragon, Jackson indisputably bringing the truth via Real Talk. That's why I love this show. Keep up the great work, both of you. Looking forward to the main show tonight. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Mary Bryan, who led that guy to the hospital? We have a strict 0 visitor policy for our hospital, especially in COVID positive patient areas. That's what I'm thinking. What's going on in Ireland to even allow an activist to do that? Okay, let's go to YouTube Super Chat. Chewy149, Dan Price story. Best part of that is the fact that his own brother on the board of the company sued him when he implemented the pay bump. Yeah, they didn't believe in him. Look at that. Michelle Jean, but yourself a coffee, buy yourself a coffee and a donut. Right. It's to make up for my misspelled words and typos. And she misspelled all of that. All right. Bernie, the Kiwi Dragon. Did Governor DeSantis tell him to eat, to breathe, to jump off a bridge? Are we playing DeSantis says? That's what it is. I get it now. Okay. Douglas Blow says, I'm 62 years old and disabled, and I really wish a Karen would try to take my mask off me or even try to rip the mask off somebody next to me. I promise I'll visit them in the hospital, LOL. We don't, all right, calm down now. Calm down. We don't want you to have to do that. All you really need to do is order an I wish a Karen would t-shirt. Okay? You'll feel much better about life. ShopTYT.com, there you go. Look at the producers on it. ShopTYT.com. No, that was such a shameless plug. Make sure you get your indisputable t-shirts. We do have versions for the ladies and men, and we also have a t-shirt with my damn face on it. Listen, they came up with that. Do not think I'm the vanity guy. Oh wow, my producer just showed me that I wish a Karen would shirt. It looks amazing. Good stuff. Okay, let's continue. Twitch, Northern Ice Dragon. What an ignorant fool to do this. Is more than obvious that the sick man is confused. That's right. Okay, let me tell you somebody else who's confused. There's a nurse, healthcare worker. She refused to get vaccinated. There's a mandate. As a matter of fact, the majority of Americans believe that healthcare workers should be mandated. 75% of black folks say yep. 57% of white folks say yep. 65% of Hispanics say yep. Healthcare, you got to get vaccinated. This person here says no. Let's go to the video.
Hey, Allie.
Hey.
So, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to get logged on to a computer, or?
I was gonna pick up some shifts and stuff. I just stopped to talk to her.
So you do not work here anymore. Sarah Beth had this conversation with you in detail. You talked to HR yesterday.
I did not quit, and I was not fired. There's no other option. There are only two options. I have not quit, and I have not received a termination letter.
You're gonna have to leave. We need your badge, and we need you to leave.
No. Under what? On what grounds?
We do not want this to get ugly.
On what grounds do you have?
We're gonna ask that you do the right thing and you leave right now.
No, you guys chose not to do the right thing by not giving us a choice.
Are you working? You're here.
I am here.
Okay.
I was not able to clock in this morning.
She didn't get the vaccine either.
Hey Eddie, I need you over at the ambulatory surgery entrance, please. And you didn't do the vaccine either?
No, sir.
Okay.
And I was not terminated. I did not quit.
You guys keep saying we chose, but you gave us no choice. There was no choice. You guys took it away.
There was a choice.
Okay, so then fire us.
You didn't.
So then fire us.
So I'm the director of security, and under my authority, I need both your ID badges.
I need my termination letter.
I need your ID badges right now. This doesn't have to go this way. You can cooperate or you cannot.
You don't have any grounds to say
I do
that.
have grounds.
No, you don't.
You were notified.
I will not leave in a professional manner.
You don't have my permission to record. I'm requesting you to stop right now. You do not have my permission. You're on private property and you can stop recording right now.
I'm not giving you my badge.
You can stop recording. You do not have my permission. The badge is not your property.
I did not quit. I was not fired, and they're trying to remove us from the property.
I mean, I've seen many things in my life, but once the authorities or once a supervisor or let's say head of security, once they say it's time for you to turn in your work badge, I don't think there's a lot of negotiating at that point. But obviously she did. Now, there are people with a lot of strong feelings about this back and forth. I want to remind people that healthcare workers are aware of the mandates and protocols of working in that industry. And that industry does administer COVID vaccinations. If you are antithetical to the vaccination yourself, what information are you giving patients who are in need of that vaccination? In addition to that, this happened in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Kentucky is an at-will work state, which means you can be fired. And there is a policy, there is a mandate that over 98% of the healthcare workers have adhered to, and some will not, and that is their choice. I don't want to take that option away from them, okay? But that doesn't mean you can still be employed at an agency that requires it. Let's go to some of the background. She refused to leave Bowling Green, Kentucky, all right? This is an at-will state, as I just explained. This was going viral on TikTok. From the Daily Dot, the follow-up video shows another male employee telling the woman and another worker who seemingly also did not get the vaccine that their access has been denied. He answers, "Yes, you are," when they ask if they've been terminated. "You are being terminated," he reiterates. Now remember, they're saying they have not been terminated. He's saying they have been terminated. They're saying they have not been terminated because they did not receive a termination letter. Well, let me say this. I've been terminated before in my life. I don't think I ever got a termination letter. No, I was told I was fired. Jackson, have you ever been fired before?
Yes, I have actually.
Did you get a termination letter?
No, I didn't. I've been fired. I think I've been fired 3 times. I've been I've done a lot in my life, but at no point did I get a termination letter. 2 times they're like, just leave, and the other time I got talked to on my way in, and they said, "Hey, sorry, we just got to let you go." I've never gotten a termination letter before.
You know, this was really interesting because in this scenario, the nurse already spoke to HR. She was aware that she could not come back to work. She was aware that she was no longer employed there. And she came back just to do the video. She came back to work just to do the video. And it looks like she had a little bit of backup to do this video. This is already settled not only statutorily, but in case law, as well as administrative policies of private companies like this hospital is in fact a private entity. So what's the problem here, Jackson? I thought these people really appreciated private enterprise being able to implement common sense policy for their company.
Well, not only that, but she's a healthcare worker, so she should know better and understand the science behind it and understand that we've been getting vaccinated since the 1700s and that we've all been vaccinated for everything else. But let alone, this is a very childish country. And people need to grow up and realize that when you live in a society that has rules and regulations, there are gonna be consequences for how you choose to go about making your decisions. And especially, over 200 million people in this country have gotten at least the first shot of whatever vaccine strain that they got. And for the most part, pretty much all of them are doing just fine, myself included. I had 0 symptoms. Everyone's doing fine. So again, like you said, one thing she mentioned that you don't have the grounds or the authority to do this. Like, yes, they do. That's not your hospital. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't understand. So it really just goes to show, the hypocrisy of that type of thinking. And again, it's just, these are the battles they choose instead of let's raise wages. Let's make our education system better.
This is what they fight over, right?
Right.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. I mean, let's start with something simple. You know good and damn well that's not your badge.
Right.
You know that work badge came from them. Now that's not your property. That is a small, simple fact that you cannot comprehend. All right, good luck on the rest of the stuff. Let me go to this story. People out of Texas, they go to New York. They go to a restaurant in New York. In order to dine at this restaurant, they must show proof of vaccination. Now remember, they're from Texas. They're in New York City. You now gotta abide by New York City rules. That's how this works. Here's what happened. 3 people from Texas, they have been arrested for assaulting a hostess who was simply doing her job. That's it. The hostess was doing the job as required by the position. Nothing else. They're from Texas. They're in New York City. They decided to physically attack the hostess. Now, CeeLo said something a few years ago that I think I need to recite right now. He said, when we're on your side of town, we don't ask why. We abide by the rules that y'all live by. You're welcome to come. You're welcome to stay. But in the disrespect, we will make your ass fly away. And they have now flew away to the county jail, okay? This was really interesting. Anti-Vaxxers coming to this restaurant, not caring about the rules nor the rule of law. The suspects who were charged with 1 count each of a misdemeanor, assault, and criminal mischief include a mother and a daughter from Humble, Texas, and a woman with them from Houston, Texas. You see their names. This is really interesting, right? They all went to jail. They got charged. The attack comes as New York City this week became the first major US city to require hospitality, entertainment, and fitness businesses to ask customers for proof of vaccination to gain access to indoor venues. You can still dine outdoors if the option is available. Any business that fails to comply could face a $1,000 fine. Okay, let's say you don't like it. Let's say you do not like that particular rule. You don't like the policy. Physically hitting somebody is your remedy. What happened to going through the process, following the rules? These are the same people that would have told black folks who are being discriminated against because of their skin color, well, what did they do? These are the same people that would have said, well, they must have done something wrong. They just need to follow the rules. Comply. Why won't they just comply? Same people, same people. Jackson, we got a couple of minutes. What are your thoughts?
Well, I actually live out here on the East Coast in Jersey, New York area, and there's an endless amount of restaurants to go to. And as you pointed out, eat outside. It's still warm. It's not cold yet. And 2, I think that this is what the fall of Rome looks like. A citizenship that is way too lost in superficiality and its own arrogance and its own egotistical beliefs and viewpoints on how things should be. And again, you come to a different state, a different city, and you can Uber Eats, you can DoorDash.
Right, so many options.
Yeah, like there's so many things you can do. But again, this is an incredibly politicized issue, and it's not going away. The more I study politics and do what I do in this field, the more I'm just coming to see that these trends are gonna last for quite some time, because it's how the Republican Party keeps its base at this point. So it's just, and these are the real world consequences of it. Violence in the streets.
I want to remind everyone how fragile democracy is. The oldest democracy, continuous democracy, Athens, Greece, 250 years. American democracy is 245 years old, okay? Just think about that. All right, my brother, thank you. As always, how can people connect with you?
All right, yeah, go ahead and download Politiscope. Politiscope's available on iOS, Apple, Android products. We let you know what's going on in Congress legislation, break it down, see who's voted for and against it. It's a useful tool. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Politiscope app. We give you news updates, we focus on policy, and we just really help to streamline people's small dollars into campaigns that they support. So definitely check us out, and looking forward to be on with you again, brother.
As always, brother, pleasure to have you. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable. Welcome to Indisputable. I'm your host, Dr. Rashad Richard. We got a lot happening today. What do we do on this show? We tell the truth. You know why we tell the truth? Because the truth is simply indisputable.
Rashad, great to be here. Congratulations on the new show. And I gotta let everybody know that Rashad and I go way back.
People still need health care, so I won't stop. People still need criminal justice systems reform throughout this country, so I won't stop. And you won't stop either.